And sige, dito na po tayo sa drafting phase now for Apex Predator. It's gonna be on the blue side while SB Empire Esports is gonna be the red side. Yan. And I see here, Brights is gonna lock in the Lee Sin.
Yeah, and it's very strong. Early, mid-game, late-game fights, and when you go for the ult, it's probably a secure kill. If ever, you have the follow-ups, right? Yun yung important, the follow-ups are gonna be very important. And as you've stated, level 2, level 3 Lee Sin is just too dominant. That could be wasted for pag hindi mo ito pinick up. And for the side of SB Empire though, we have Wukong and Fiora.
Yes, I feel like Wukong is still viable, pero after kasi ng mga nerfs niya na hindi na siya type niya kasi dati sa So, if you're playing as a Wukong, dali lang. You have illusion yourself when you push the Cyclone, dalawang knock-ups. And ngayon kasi, more on, kailangan pa rin niya ng help coming in from the support and also the mid laner and the ADC para maging effective. He's more of an initiator. Hindi katulad ni Lee Sin, he can be a disruptor and initiator as an assassin.
Yeah. Rakan, Akali, third and fourth pick of SB Empire, while the side of Apex Predator is now going for an Alistar, Hover for Kaisa and Garen for this one. So I think yun na nga, Alistar, very strong as you've stated. When it comes to the front lines, when it comes to initiating his team, it's actually very strong. And considering you also have the Rakan from the enemy team, Alistar could just go for the ultimate, just walking AoE slow for SB Empire. So it's really just gonna be hard. Although you need to respect that we have a Rakan. So extra movement speed and easier recall for this dual laners.
Yes, but still, looking at the comp, in the blue side, it looks like a tank galore. While on the red side, it's a glass cannon comp. I am not sure. It's like you're gonna put eggs and, you know, grind it to a rock. Tingnan natin if it's gonna be effective because for me, looking at the comp ng Apex Predator, sobrang hirap tong i-counter once they have all the crowd control, they have the silence, they have the mobility. Habang dito sa other side, if they are not able to go for an initiate pickoff, dito sila mahihirapan kasi nga wala silang sustainability in a clash.
And the key champions here to look at for the side of SB Empire to initiate fights is going to be Rakan and Wukong. The grand entrance plus the ultimate to follow through with the Cyclone is gonna be very important. Pag hindi nila ito nalapag, and it's actually baited out by the side of SB Empire, or Apex Predator rather, it's gonna be very devastating for his team. Kasi wala na sila ibang initiation.
Yes, and mahihirapan sila to go for a front. Usually, yung mga heroes na wala kayong tank, usually ang pumapasok talaga yung magsusustain para sa inyo. And to soak up the damage is gonna be the main tank. And di ko alam kung sino yung para dito sa SB Empire Esports. Is it gonna be the Rakan? Or is it gonna be the Fiora? It's just too much na, parang repost na lang ba yung pangsalo mo sa damage?
Indeed, gonna be the question here right now for this running game. And for the side of Apex Predator, he actually wasn't really able to tackle those initiations, aside from maybe the Alistar, right? I think it is also important to take note that they also have the Daga, right? So that is the explosive cast that could disengage fights. Especially rather, when you go for those objectives like the Dragon, the Baron, the Rift Herald, name it, call it. You have the explosive cast if ever there's a contest for the side of SB Empire to just zone out the enemy team and lets you secure the objective to then go for kills, to then go for initiations and counteract on the contest for the side of SB Empire.
Yes, and actually Gragas is the only hero that is a disruptor that doesn't need to go in. He can use the explosive cast just as well, but especially if they're gonna go for an objective to disrupt the position lines of SB Empire Esports. And this is gonna be harder and harder if they go into the late game. They have well scaling on this Apex Predator. They have that Kaisa and they have that Lee Sin.
Ooh, everyone's roaming around. Alistar actually initiates the fight. The knockup's gonna come through. Akali is forced to back away with the flash. The Ignite is not gonna kill him down, but that is gonna put him at a very, very low health. Now, we have Apex Predator trying to contest with a stutter. Information is gonna be very important. Grand entrance followed through from that knockup, but the 3-man knockup for the side of Apex Predator to set it all off is pretty massive. You have the Garen to actually make a response for his team, and that will be no further engagement that's gonna come through. First Blood, still not available in-game.
Yes, still, SB Empire was able to secure the 2 Real Scuttlers into the early game. This is an answer, that's why Lee Sin was only level 3 at that point of time. And now Lee Sin is going to be forced to clear all of his jungles just to be in level 5 before the dragon fight. But still, he has that 1 minute and 20 and actually to recuperate and have himself ready for the Dragon Clash if ever they're gonna be able to win.
Plus, this is not just it. The Scuttler is gonna be very important. It gives you the map. It gives you the map that can lead to having that knowledge on what is gonna be a potential gap, what is gonna be the potential play from the that information on where the jungler is could lead you to a win in lane.
Yeah, and then also, ang mahirap kasi dito for the SB Empire Sports. Yes, they get the objectives, but they're not aggressive enough. Comp is more of an early comp na kailangan i-abuse mo as the start of the game. Kasi they're very passive on their plays. Wala plays. So, it's all about the risky plays kasi para dito sa lineup nila eh. Kaya nga dapat, as much as possible, kailangan pilitin nila na mag-make ng play. Kasi ang dami dyang moment na pwedeng mag-initiate dito si Rakan habang wala pang masyadong skills dito si Alistair.
Absolutely. A glass cannon composition is made to be very, very strong when it comes to the early game. Dominating when it comes to team fights, dominating when it comes to the damage area of a fight as well. Now the Lee Sin actually Sonic Wave connected to Rakan, no follow through, but they're just zoning out the enemy team. They're just falling back for now. They respect each other, but the Alistar with that just zones out the enemy team, and now the dominance of the Dragon Spit is to the side of Apex Predator. Rakan having that face check, going in for the check onto the Dragon Spit. The Wukong comes through into that fight, but fell back away. The Rakan went for the knock-up onto the Dragon. The Charm actually set up a play for the side of SB Emperor. First blood from the Rakan is actually being slain. It's now going to be a 4v4 situation. It's going to be the Akali onto the backside. Alistar falls down. It's a 3v1. Not going to be a good trade there for the side of Apex Predator as SB Empire takes the lead.
Yeah, I saw a lot of misses there, and I felt like the explosive cast of that Gragas was too premature. They could have gotten a kill as early as that first flash, but he used that explosive cast to disengage and, made a path of escape for Rakan and also that Wukong.
I like the itemization here from Kaisa. BF Sword, then building through BRK. This opens up 2 skills for her to actually scale out. So a good itemization right now from that Kaisa. As now they're looking for a 3-man roam onto the bottom side of the map. Wukong is trying to go for the face check, but it's not too safe for you to just go in. It's now going to be the Gragas explosive cast, zoning out that Rakan, putting him down. It's now going to be the Alistar. Wukong for Apex Predator into the bottom side of the map. Attacking the backside with the flank. Shroud just puts him back to safety. The Kaisa with a poke, just, information for them. And now they're going back home with 3-2 kills.
Yes, the hard part for Nakali. And Nakali has a very long cooldown for the perfect execution. That's why the Apex Predator was able to, go back and harass the bot lane. And I felt I'm not really a fan of how the Gragas was using his explosive cast. I felt like he was just using it as a skill shot instead of a controlled skill where you can reposition the enemy to to your liking.
Okay, so yeah, right now it's going to the 5v3. Although the gold is actually pretty even. Right now, it's going to be Apex Predator going in for the Dragon Pit. Alistar initiating the fight. The Cyclone is actually pretty massive. But a knock-off of Rakan. He's going back in. He's going in for the grand entrance against the enemy team. Kaisa is too low of an health. That Garen from the backside just finishes it off. It's now a 2-4-3 trade-off in favor of SV Empire. Apex Predator is forced to back away. They're forced to creep back under the turret. And that is a dragon stolen by SV Empire, and the Ocean Drake goes into their favor.
This is actually what's happening is actually in favor of SV Empire Esports. They waited for the Apex Predator to go for the Dragon Take, and since they have the damage, they are able to sustain the damage to assassinate that Lee Sin, assassinate that Kaisa. The clash is just gonna swing into their ways.
24 is right now built up from that Fiora. He's going to BRK as well. I think this is going to be pretty massive when it comes to damage output if Fiora is able to do so. SV Empire is zoning out the Rift. Herald going in for the response onto the mid side. Gragas is actually pretty open. They're going in for the defense for now. It's going to be a double kill from that Lee Sin into the bottom side of the map. Fiora, Rakan melted down by Apex Predator. Now they have the member advantage. They are free to go for objectives.
Yes, definitely. And also looking into the map of the SV Empire Esports, yes, they were able to take the objective, but I felt like they were too passive, just going for farms instead of going for those plays like what Apex Predator is doing. They're pressuring the bot lane right now, and they were able to, successfully get a kill. But at the same time, the referral is already up, and SV Empire Esports enjoying themselves.
Oh, Garen forced to flash away back to safety. Grand entrance from the Rakan to follow through. It's now going to be the knock up as well from that Cyclone. They're still catching up. It's too deep. SV Empire now. SV Empire is forced to recall with no kills done. And now Apex Predator is having a good time in mid lane.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. Members of SV Empire Esports showed themselves into the bot lane, and knowing that the members of Apex Predator was already into the top lane and they're gonna catch this Akali red-handed, nothing to do there. But yes, there is gonna be a counter in this.
Kaisa, pull to back away. Rakan as well, Wukong as well. They respect how Apex Predator has the advantage. Rakan is now following through with that Saya into the backside. Now Fiora just tries to go for the lunge, not gonna be enough. The 3-man knockoff from Apex Predator, massive play, and Fiora is forced to flash away back to safety. Saya is too deep in the fight. The Killer Instinct is gonna connect, and that is another kill in the pockets of Apex Predator.
Yes, winning that clash, they're now gaining some lead. Almost 5k actually over SV Empire Esports. Apex Predator was able to capitalize on the Rift Herald push onto the mid lane. So most of the members of SV Empire Esports wasn't ready for that clash. They went in 1-for-1. And that resulted to a very messy clash for SV Empire Esports, while Apex Predator was already in the right position to take all the kills and to take all the objectives from SV Empire Esports.
Absolutely. And now, Baron is alive. 30 seconds for the Infernal Drake to come up. Potential source of team fights as well. SV Empire needs to think on what they're gonna do, as Rakan is gonna be pinned down by Apex Predator, and that is another kill with the Infernal Drake 10 seconds up. It's gonna be in favor of Apex Predator at this point, with no further initiations from SV Empire to set it all up. The Wukong is left standing to go for those CC totals against Apex Predator. So a free Drake is going to the Apex Predator.
Yes, and this is an Infernal Break, and this is much different as the Empire Esports as the game progresses. 6% to the damage percentage of all the team members of Apex Predator, and I feel like the game is Apex Predator is gonna take this game for grabs, and falling slowly in gold of Apex Predator.
Yeah. Now it's going to be 7k gold deficit for the side of SV Empire. Infernal Drake has already come through for the side of Apex Predator as well. And there's still potential for them to go for a 4-1 composition, to go for some split push, put the game to just a... But I'm talking too soon. Right now, SV Empire is slowly looking for a fight that could potentially sway it one way or another for their...
It is already prowling into the getting some missions before they may go for a match. The Empire thing.
Kali, this check is not something you want to do. And Kaisa will off. And Kaisa, with that account, it's now gonna be an assassin down for the side of the SP Empire, and they're looking for more. Apex Predator has now the member advantage when they're going to from that turn, but the question would be, SP Empire, what are you gonna do next? Fiora is still into the Dragon Lane, so that is the way for this one in advance fit, and they opted to go for the defense instead.
At that moment when that Akali was picked off, it was a sure path to get that power for free. And they even damaged and wasted the Feather Storm of Saya. So, you know, even if they tried to contest, the result would be they could have kill or plus with the kill that the since you have
Always. Now slowly right now is in favor of Apex Predator. Potential opening for them to actually go for inner turrets and even inhibitor turrets.
Red team lost the turret.
always in the match.
Oh, but finding out what is over. Now the storm actually slowly again. Apex Predator, but that killer instinct when one goes down. It's going to be a 2v5 situation. They can't hold on. Instead of a win for Apex Predator, taking the series. Game number 2, Apex Predator takes the win. Shasta!
Victory!
I'm just joking, but you know, Apex Predator was very dominant in this game all throughout. Yes, they had some lapses in terms of rotation into the early, but at the end of the day, yes, Apex Predator still takes the win with a solid showing. And before all that, we're now gonna pass the analyst. We're gonna pass it to the analyst, who's the most handsome and most smart out of all the production staff that I've worked with. Shinbu!
What the hell? Ay, ladies and gentlemen, maraming salamat syempre kila Vittorio and Infinity for that awesome commentary. Actually, this is a totally one-sided game overall in the part of Apex Predators. If you look into the graph, makikita nyo dito that there are some, of course, moments of retaliation mula sa side ng SV Empire. Pero you can actually see how it is not so passive. It is not so as passive kumpara doon sa game number 1 natin. But you see how it still retains, no? Even on the 8-minute mark. And how quickly it translates patungo sa side ulit ng Apex Predators when they got crucial kills by the moment of the Herald. And right after the Herald, especially in the setup sa Herald, you have to take note doon na bago doon sa Herald, syempre, nabawasan din naman sila ng ibang mga membro. Pero overall, the finisher kills there by the side of Apex Predators pans out for them, no? And actually, makikita mo ito sa may bars natin. Silipin nyo yung sa bars and you will see how impactful dito si Gragas. Isama mo na rin syempre si Japanese name, no? Pero there's really just a lot of mechanics weakness here for the Kaisa. I think by the early minute mark, I think mga around early pa rin tayo, mga siguro 15, entering the 15-minute mark. He already has the, Runaan's Hurricane on top of a Blade of the Ruined King na may kasama ring BF sword, no, plus long sword. Although there is a nerf on the attack damage ng ng Blade of the Ruined King, you can easily mitigate that by adding a long sword to the pool. Tapos wala na. Nung nakita mo yung Runaan's Hurricane dito para sa ating Kaisa, especially on that very quick parang reflexes. But the moment that the Saya press the Feather Storm, kinounter niya lang yun, napakadali, using the Killer Instinct. And yeah, that's one good mechanic, honestly, for the Kai'Sa against the Saya. Kapag nag-Feather Storm na si Saya, pag narinig mo yung yung patunog ng Feather Storm, pindutin mo na yung Killer Instinct mo and you'll definitely win the trade kasi napaka-vulnerable talaga ng Saya for the Feather Storm. And if you don't mess up the positioning ng Killer Instinct, hindi ka tatamaan ng Blade Caller, no? So, that's it. 14k on the Saya. Of course, you cannot deny the fact of the stunts here delivered also by the Gragas. And the cool part here is that kita mo naman, binanggit natin yung Corki, binanggit natin yung Orianna, Aurelion Sol. Dinagdag pa sa pool dito, quite confident on the side of Apex Predator, would be Gragas, no? For the mid lane. So, ang ganda lang, napakalakas lang. Post jungle here, you've been seeing him a lot on the Olaf. Pero bumalik lang siya sa Lee Sin. He's been a good Lee Sin player na since way back pa. Actually, one of the top rank player ng Lee Sin. On the part din na hindi ganun kataas yung played games niya sa Lee Sin, no? Pero mataas lang talaga sa yung win rate dito. Executions are really totally off sa hindi naman all, no? Pero there of course improvement, no? And there is lot much to be decided para sa side dito ng SB Empires in terms of execution against Apex Predator. Kasi hindi na nakukuha yung tamang intensyon or running plan for their draft. Even that leaves the Akali to be dropped towards a damage dealt of just a measly 7,900, no? You can actually see doon sa post-game items natin of how it is for the Akali. Although getting some execute kills of her own and actually leading the gold para sa kanilang para sa kanyang team, still that is because of the cleanup na nagagawa that is because of the cleanup na nagagawa pa rin ng attempt na nagagawa pa rin ng Apex Predator. And ang pinaka-punish dito is of course their main front lines. That would be of the Rakan plus the Wukong. Hindi na nga pinalusot yung Wukong dito. This is actually a comp that is really good. I think onto the side of SB Empire dito. You can fight from your distance. You have a good distance here. Pero I think mas kuha lang talaga ng Apex Predator yung timings dito against Empire Esports. And yun na nga, nagsimula yon on the setup when we're moving towards the Herald, no? Again, you really have to keep your mind and you really have to keep your focus intact and your plans intact even until siguro 8-minute mark. Dapat by the 8-minute mark, lamang na lamang pa rin kayo and you're good to go. You're already set for the game. Pero if things are pretty even by the even 6-minute mark or kung meron kayong slight na lamang, that can easily be swinged. Lalo pa nagmamatter talaga yung 4, 6, and 8 na team fights, no? Diyan na-establish yung mga pinakamaagang lead. And if things get even on 4, then you wait out for the 6-minute mark team fight. If things get even by the 6-minute mark team fight, then you wait out for the team fight on the 8-minute mark and evaluate from there, no? And the 8-minute mark, yun yung tinamaan dito ng Apex Predator. They reach Apex point against SB Empire Esports dito. And yeah, that's it. That's gonna be Empire Esports taking their leave para sa ating upper bracket. Pero this is not yet over for them, okay? This is an upper bracket match nga naman. And again, they're still gonna be playing onto the lower bracket. So marami pang pwedeng ma-improve para sa side dito ng SB Empire. Kanina yung game 1, medyo talagang parang sayang yon. I've seen Empire Esports, SB Empire played already on some weeks of Wild Rift Underground. They're very, very strong, especially against other teams. Pero siguro, this is not just today, no? It is not just their day-to-day. And I can't help but feel that Apex Predator entered this match really well prepared against Empire.